Well, Matty, I'd imagine just happy to be back out there on the
Yeah, pretty much. It's just been a little bit of a frustrating couple of weeks. Just had a little setback after a small surgery that I had to have on my groin. So it was a small complication after it, and it just sent me back a little bit. But I was buzzing to be back out there, and we got the 3 points, which is a massive plus as well.
Yeah, and it was only a relatively short sort of spell out,
yeah.
And I guess coinciding with a bit up and down results, that makes it even more frustrating.
Yeah, it does do. I mean, we tried to plan it so that it was international break and things like that, so it just didn't quite work out. But it was still quite quick in the end, and then with the results, it's obviously always frustrating when you're watching and you can't really have an impact on anything. You try to behind the scenes and in the dressing room, but I was just desperate to get back out there, and it was a good solid performance and obviously a big 3 points.
You played plenty of football over your career. Have you seen a sort of league like this which is quite so ridiculously close?
Not certainly not at the minute. We've just been speaking about that in there. Then it's a bit crazy at the moment. Obviously, you look at the results and you just like that's a shock. Or I think in a couple of weeks' time it will probably just become more the norm. I think the key thing for us is we can gain a little bit of consistency. I think you'll see big strides in the league, and hopefully you can then remain in and around certain areas that you don't drop too far if you do have a little bit of a bad spell. So that's the aim for us. The consistency is probably the key thing.
Yeah, because I think a lot of clubs like City will be looking at the table and thinking, why not? Normally you get 2 or 3 of the big clubs that are miles ahead.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem quite that way.
Yeah, I mean, with respect to the clubs that have come down this year, they probably haven't had the same impact as what certainly Bournemouth and Fulham had last year. Probably the 4 games that we played against them, 2 each, it was big dominance from both teams, and we kind of knew that. We played them here, Bournemouth at home here, and you come off the pitch going, we couldn't really get near them today, and they're a level above what's in the Championship. With the respect to the clubs that have come down so far, I think we've competed, and I think other teams have also caused big upsets at their place and at home and things like that. So I'd probably say from the outside that it's probably anyone's game at the minute for sure.
And that consistency is also something that everybody's looking for. Is it almost mentally as much as physically, not getting too down? You're going to have some bad results because the teams are so relatively equal. It's the ones who can almost deal with that best that might do well.
That's it. I think that it's knowing that the Championship is very, very quick turnaround. So I mean, in 2 weeks you could play 4 games, and the points that you can pick up inside that 2 weeks or drop is a lot. But then there's another 4 games the next 2 weeks. So I think that you just need to realise that the Championship's relentless, and consistency is something that everybody's looking for, and certainly what we are as well. And if you can find it, I'm guessing you will start to make big strides up the league. And for us, it's just trying to be consistent in our own performances, so that they don't drop too much, and then we can win a game possibly in an ugly way. That's obviously something that we are trying to find at the moment.
And one of the keys to that is obviously having enough bodies available so that you've got that real competition, and it's as strong now as it's been for a good while.
Yeah, I think so. I think when you lose a couple of players in what is kind of an experienced players in a younger squad, it will have a small effect. And I think for us, we're probably just getting now towards a near fully fit squad with the Cal Naismith's just probably on his way back now. So I think after that, then you're almost there, and it's having that little bit of luck then to try and keep that squad, kind of together, making sure that everybody's on the same page and we're all pulling in the right direction. And I think that's what's been really good here so far. And like I said, a lot of the injuries sometimes do come down to the luck of the draw, and hopefully we can get that now.
Yeah, because look at some of the performances from this year, and there've been plenty of them that have been at really high standards. You know how you're going to play. Everybody sort of slots into that, and over even the sort of year and a bit you've been here, you must have seen that develop.
Yeah, I think so. I think there was frustrating games last year. We all kind of knew that, and we all kind of felt it together as one club, staff, players, fans, everyone. And I think this year, I think there's an identity. There's certainly a way of playing. There's certainly a difference in performance, and it's just like I say, keep going back. It's that consistency of performance on the Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, and it's just being able to maintain that. And that's why the competition is so key, that we can rotate hopefully a couple of players to come in and say, listen, this is my time and this is my opportunity. I want to take it, and make it as hard as possible for the manager. Because ultimately that's his job. And then if we've got a group that's pulling, you've got players that you can count upon at any given time.
So the next opportunity to do that is Reading, who have proven one of the surprising teams. I think a lot of people expected them to struggle, and they've had a much better season than most would have expected.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, looking in the summer, kind of, you probably wouldn't put them down to what they've had so far. But again, that's the Championship, and this is a team that we've got to respect at the moment. This is our next game, and we'll be working hard on Reading now in the coming days, and hopefully we can go there and, you know, we come away with the 3 points and try and get that back-to-back win again, which will be a big week for us.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Oh, Matty, correct me if I'm wrong, was that the first time you wore the captain's armband on at Bristol?
I don't think it is. No, I think I wore it last year. Can't remember exactly when, but you know, it's a great kind of honour for me to wear it, and you know, I respect the decision that the gaffer made, and you know, I enjoy wearing it, and you know, whenever called upon, I'll try and lead the team regardless of whether I've got it on or not. So there's numerous other players in there that are also leaders, and you know, numerous players can wear it.
Those leadership qualities, do they come from your time in the academy at Manchester United? Was that kind of drilled into you as a...
I think so, yeah. I mean, through the years of kind of playing as well, you're a little bit more experienced over what's happened, whether it be on or off the pitch. You kind of learn different things, but certainly my upbringing at Man United was a big thing in that I was kind of pushed through, and you had to kind of lead even in a younger role, or if you're playing in the reserves and you're a scholarship or you're under 18, you still expect the leadership qualities to be there. So I think it's just something that has been drilled upon me since a young age.
How do they do that specifically?
I think it's just they kind of just believe in you as well. That's one of the key things, and it's hard to explain the kind of the Man United way that I certainly had. You know, it was very, very humbling. You had jobs to do. You know, if the jobs weren't done right, you know, there was kind of small consequences, and it's kind of the standards that are drilled into you, that the standards then create your own leadership inside your own little group. So even at under 18 level, if somebody's not doing something right and you're all kind of being seen by the first team or something to them not doing your job correctly, then you're kind of going to say something because you want that to be perceived in a good light.
It's pretty crazy. We're already a third of the way through the season. How have you kind of assessed your performances?
I think it was a little bit of a frustrating start for me because I picked up a small injury against Sunderland that was kind of completely unexpected. So then I kind of fought back as quick as I could to get that. You know, we had a good couple of wins, and then the two performances at Norwich and Burnley I thought were still quite positive in defeat really. I think, like I mentioned there about the two teams coming down, I thought we competed and we went toe to toe with two very, very good teams, and unfortunately then I just had a small setback with the groin operation and obviously the good win at West Brom. So I think for me now it's just kind of making sure that I stay as fit as I possibly can and help the team as much as I possibly can.
Do you have to, I'm not going to say old, I'm going to say experience, but I feel like once you get over 30, once you're a footballer, that kind of...
Yeah, it's a weird club, that's where it is. For some strange reason, like you mentioned, it's anybody else out of football and they're kind of gobsmacked at your class as old in the football world, but in the normal world you're completely, kind of young age still. I don't really tend to think about it. I mean, we have a laugh and a joke about it in the dressing room, and we have numerous players at numerous clubs being called certain things, but like not so much here. But it's just part and parcel. We try and help the young lads, and we've got young boys here that are also leading. Certainly like Scott, in the way that he steps up. For such a young lad, he's also playing in a leadership role at this moment in time. So generally, it doesn't really matter about your age for me.
Injuries are going to be kind of part and parcel of the championship, like the relentless nature of it. Have you had to tailor your recovery at all over the years, or change anything? Yeah,
I mean, for me, I have suffered a little bit before I came in my Leicester time. It was a lot of bad luck, and some of it was down to your genetic makeup of your own body. I've always tried to be the ultimate professional and try and do everything as the best I possibly can, and unfortunately sometimes your body doesn't quite respond to the way that you want it to, and it's how you then come back from it. So I try and do as much as we can. Certainly the staff here and the way that the facilities that they have, they do as much as they possibly can for the lads to make sure that when they come out Saturday, Tuesday, whether it be on the Wednesday, they try and do as much as they possibly can. So certainly on the recovery side of it, we try and do as much as we can.
No worries. Just Joe Williams has spoken, we can say how much they enjoy playing alongside you. I'm just wondering, what is it about your game and his game that thinks that perhaps made you gel so much and made you play off of one another?
I think with Joe, he's kind of, he's such an energetic player that, you can get, pulled into certain areas, and I just try and back him up, if you will. I understand that he is very, very energetic, and he wants to get on the ball all the time, and he wants to make tackles, and he's just trying to rein him in to make sure that the structure of the team is right as well, and we get the balance. So I think that's something that he might enjoy from me, that I try and talk to him as much as I possibly can and encourage him to, if I'm not in the position to get the ball, you go and get it. And it's just giving him that freedom to be able to do that. And I think that was kind of one of the first times that me, Joe and Scotty kind of played together in a midfield three at the weekend, and we kind of spoke about the game. It doesn't matter who's in certain positions. We're all capable of playing in the 6 or the 2-8s. It doesn't really make any difference. So it's just making sure that the balance of the team. So I think that's kind of what Joe's kind of referring to. Is I just try and speak to him as much as I can and encourage him.
And against West Brom, it's a bit more of a flat midfield.
Yeah.
Did you see your role perhaps change a bit? Obviously, you didn't play beforehand, but did you see your role change perhaps from what you played for earlier in the season? Perhaps?
Yeah, I think so. I think when with Andy, he's such an attacking threat, and his mindset is obviously on scoring goals and getting into them areas. And I think the gaffer made a decision to kind of play the more of a flat three and possibly look to be a little bit more solid in there. So for me, it was just about making sure that communication on the pitch was there, and that we kind of solidified the middle of the pitch. And I thought that we did that really well. And the battle in there was obviously good for us, but I thought that we came out on top, and we dominated the ball certainly in the first half, and we had to defend quite a lot of set plays as well. So I think it was an overall very, very strong performance, and kind of game management was good as well, which is pleasing.
So we put you in the experienced player bracket. Yeah. We've seen Andy King go into a player coach role.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself at all going into that role at City, or just do you think you'll go into coaching?
Yeah, I think it'll be separate to here. I think certainly for now my main focus is on playing, and it's something that in the future I've thought about, and coaching badges and things like that, it does interest me, and certainly that side of it, the coaching role, and just kind of being involved in football, because it's all we know really. So it is something that I do kind of look into, and I think I'll cross that bridge as and when, focus on the playing now.
Thank you.
No worries.
Nigel was complimentary on your performance in midweek.
Yeah.
What do you think you kind of brought to the side that was perhaps missing in recent weeks in terms of control?
I don't think it was anything that's kind of missing as such. I don't think it's, I see myself as just kind of just going out there and doing my best for the team. I think I'm just trying to encourage as many players as I possibly can and make sure that they've got the belief in themselves, because there's some very, very talented boys, and it's just making sure that there's no doubt there, or that when we do get it right, we're a good team, and when we are collectively strong, we get the good shape about ourselves. Because certainly on counter-attacking, whether it be with whoever plays up front, there's speed there, there's attacking threat. But then on the defensive side of it, we've conceded quite a few set plays recently, so it was just making sure that everybody knew the role and was reminding each other, and making sure that we were strong. And in the midfield, obviously, like I said, the decision was made to kind of play the more flatter three for this game, and it was just try and control the ball as much as we can against their middle two, to try and outnumber them. So that's obviously what I try to do, and communicate that through the team then.
And Nigel spoken before on getting more goals from midfield.
Yeah.
Obviously Joe got one in midweek. Is that something you're trying to add more to?
Yeah, for definite. I think certainly the boys have been taking care of that up front, certainly in recent games, and then we've been a little bit of a threat from set plays, certainly with the Rob one, and that's something that we need to improve as well. But when we've had the three, or Andy breaking from midfield and the wing backs have gone, it's just having that balance between still having the midfield blocked off, or you don't want to commit too many bodies forward. But certainly on Tuesday night, Joe was able to get forward, Scotty was, and know that I was kind of there to balance it off. But if I was in that position, I wanted to go forward, I'd hope that Joe sat for me, and that is something that I would try and add to my game. And certainly I think Scotty's, it's one thing that he wants to do as well. So I think the gaffer's 100% right. We need more goals from other players in the team to be able to be, hopefully people to be questioning where the goal's going to be coming from other teams, and going, we need to stop him, and him. So it'll only help us if we can do that.